The Lord looked at his attitude. Once again I was angry and screaming. Kid, you will pay for your hope. To take the word of death from heaven. Fast forward to the strongest. 5 elders at the bottom, looking up at the war in the air. In my heart I can't help but feel, this little monster is just a fake scene. But his power was there. Kill the 7 demons in one move. This mortal is not a training master. I dare to face this monster. They find their own way to die. See, the situation is not right. The chorus moves forward a few steps. Said coldly, 5 elders, we go up. The 5 elders were a little surprised, but now he knew. Even if you two move forward together, the result will still be the same. I thought, he said reluctantly. Even if we go, we can't save him. Hear this word. Hong Futh and Van laughed for 2 hours. What to do with his voice? Even if he is useless. But anyway, it's the sky. Even death will slow down that boy's speed. Let's catch up. His word just ended. 5 elders like transparency. To hand clenched the hammer in hand. Smirking left. With the Holy Spirit into the war. But most certainly right now, we are fighting with death. But they know their actions. It's like having handled it before. Probably the best mouth. They were sent away. Next, just follow the plan. You can safely leave. Death in the opposite sky. I feel most definitely not paying attention. That he despises him. Anger and yelling don't allow me to be despised. At the same time, a sword of death is about to be struck down. Probably most people use the magic of the image. Disappear in the blink of an eye. Waiting for time to appear, he ran to the back of the dead. He was with 5 elders at the same time. Startled, standing still, not willing to bite his lips. He's dying, using this trick just like that. It really can't hurt you. Even when death is still in the background. It was the loudest laugh of all. You think I'm as stupid as my last name? Let the junkie slow us down. Your plan is early. His words just ended. Hong Futh and Van immediately wrinkled eyebrows. To grips tightly to the right. The damn judge let me find out. The 9-year-old finally heard this. The sky also screamed in amazement. Then the effect of death is to take life. Keep your feet strong. The Emperor's art is a deep soul. The 2 sides are not only fighting but also fighting. The losing side will fail. The 9 next to him also agreed. But he is also very impressed by the most powerful of all. That's it. He looked at the plan of the king. More in the blink of an eye to the next. Find a way out. Design of Hong Futh and Van. In front of the most obvious. It's just grass. It's really scary. At this point, most people are looking at them. Despise the lips. A loser who dared to chase Lao Tzu. These 2 words hit the heart of the dead. He had never been so humiliated before. Not waiting for people to react. He was once again headed for the most secure. Hit out a right. I am very angry, young man. Less contempt for others. Wait until the two of you realize. Death is so close. The best part is that I played a few tricks with him. He shouted angrily. Death Star chase again. The 5 leaders also shook their heads badly in time. Not too involved. Most probably calmed down a little nervous. Keep your eyes on the 2 princes. Than Van thinking. The 2 of them haven't caught up yet. So he killed the person in front of him. I thought in my eyes immediately. 2 wings of medicinal lightning transformed into sharp blades. Slash towards death. He is cold and loud. I have chosen death, and I will grant you my wish. It's like facing an onslaught coming. Death is without fear. Laughing coldly into a loud voice. The boy knows even if the attack is stronger. You didn't hit anything useless. Most likely, some people don't understand what he means. But a moment later, death is gone. And so forth, into the void. Look at this. Probably stopped for a moment. I can't trust the judge. How can you? He doesn't use space to move. That's how we move out of space. Now a moment of death has appeared again. The boss fights towards Y. Most likely in a hurry to stop. Calm down and say yes. Even if the speed of pleasure is faster. Weak power like a child's fist. It's useless to beat the power. The heavens of death hear the contempt of the greatest of all. The more angry I laughed for an hour. Have you heard that falling water will pierce the rocks? Most people don't pay attention to this word. Ridicule how soft the rule of law is. I can't even hurt my stomach. Touch for an hour. Most likely, they have a right to die. Hit the ground hard. Body buried in the ruins. I can't help but take a deep breath. That is why death. Maybe one of the worst punches in the world. He finally did it. Right now. Most likely from among the ruins to stand up. He wasn't hurt too badly either. It's just that the arm is a little red. Look at my hand. Then look up at the sky. His eyes grew cold, and he quietly said, "Let us see. I have despised you too much, Master Lin. Except 190 shady." He looked at the person in front of him coldly. Knowing is good. Hentai Lam we set. It's also thanks to the power of the 7. But right now, in his heart is a piece of pain. This person's body can be so tough. One of his punches hurt a little. They deserve the name monster. That people give. Hit his punching grave. His hands are about to fall. It's just red. He thought there was a little fear in his heart. But the face of the nose did not dare to come out. The opposite is the Than Van Hongfu. When I saw this scene, I laughed for an hour. Ha ha ha. I can't believe the old man has this power. It's a great way to widen your eyes. Bumper. Chief Lamb. You showed us your power earlier. To avoid more trouble, we will deal with this boy quickly. They now have the upper hand. But most probably the world always reveals the demonic body. Makes him a little nervous. The wind can slow down the speed. So the 3 of them are on the ground. It can definitely kill you. So Hong Fu and Van now. I want to win fast. If not to fall. Death is lost in his hands taking that demonic speed. They basically can't be stopped anymore. 5 elders next door. Thinking is also the same with Hong Fu and Van. Most of us have to kill before it's too late. Then he thought, yes. It will take a long time for the elder to act alone. Me and the 2 boys help you. That's it. The Lord of Heaven did not see their plans. I think they respect him in their hearts. And then seriously. 2 men, 5 elders, rest assured. There's an old man here. He can't escape. Hong Fu and Van laughed for an hour, revealing a wicked smile. Of course the prince believes this. I can hear their conversation. Probably most people can't help but think. With the power of 2 practitioners. 1 more death for 3 people to join forces. Just a little slip. He will definitely lose his life. He has long had a policy. Otherwise, they wouldn't take risks. But what do you do in heaven and earth? But we should start with AI now. Thought. Most likely, the eyes of the world are turned to the sky. Laughing, said the old man. I can't believe you're also the best. No less than Hong Fu and Van and 5 elders. Laughing for an hour. In comfort la big ha-ha. Now you know why it's late. See his form. Most likely, he laughs so he could guess right. This man is really a flattering man. It's easy to eat. And then he continued to speak. You can't blame me. Compared to 6 houses, the name of the hobby is not very good. And reputation must be good. Of course the word just ended. The dead man was angry and breathless. I love that we have no name. Why is it not good? The fish are slowly catching on. Probably the most evil smile. Whether the name of the forest is connected or not. Not mentioned, but maybe you haven't heard of that. What knife ca? The wind is waiting for the wind to blow to the 2 sides. Fell into pomegranate jelly pants today. Tomorrow fall into a big tree. I don't know what day the wind blows. Break into no one needs. This is not a knife. It's just the most likely, depending on the time, to provoke death in heaven. Real. This stupid old man's face flushed with anger. Scolding big hubris. Who is rumored to have Lao Tzu tear him apart? On the contrary, there are 2 princes. I can hear this knife. Immediately belly mouth laugh quietly. This is too true. 2 people just laughed and didn't speak. I'm sure you can't help but laugh at a rumor. The elder Lin now has a large foothold. I forgot about the sandalwood in the space flower. Strictly standing outside the battle. Laugh for an hour or 2, feeling a few sentences. Your mouth is too poisonous. But that, he just wants to find the hole in the sky. This person is too deep. By people looking at them with derisive eyes. Death cannot be endured anymore. Back to the surest side of the world. Mouth endlessly screams rotten boy. Lao Tzu, if I don't tear you apart today, I'm not a Lin. Go to hell. In the blink of an eye. Death is coming in front of the most powerful man. A right to strike down. But most likely in the eyes of the cowering look of horror. Hurry up and stop it. That in the blink of an eye. Death is gone, and you can't see it. Waiting, he appeared close to the most powerful man. There's no way. Most people can only stop their hands. He was kicked out with one leg. Again against the wall. There again appeared a pile of rubble. The old man could see immediately, laughing. The elder Lin did well. There's a thing. We don't need to do it this time. Probably about to collapse. I really didn't expect Elder Lin to be so evil. It must give us a headache. There was no resistance. The old man took one last breath to finish his words. He then lifts his feet forward. Go to the rubble in front of you. See this scene. Long 9 with the sky above. It emits gas. Prepare to fight. Long 9 towards the sky. He said he was ready to act at any time. Not like people. Hong Fu Than Van is delighted. Seriously, I feel something is wrong. A voice is not right. Next to him, he laughed happily. He was about to be beaten to death. It's because Master showed up. The boy was overbearing. Where are you going now, haha? Hear this word. Tongue seriously seemed to wake up in amazement, screaming. That's right. That's what it is. The old man always felt that something was wrong. Then Ra is the boy's charisma is not seen anymore. Your face is hard to understand. Ask the teacher what's wrong. The boy was beaten up. What else is prestige? Strictly shaking his head. Speak up in fear. Even if you die, you are still a lion. Even if you take off the crown, you are still a king. The atmosphere of heaven and earth. It won't disappear forever. But now it's gone, not gone. It's hidden. Like a poisonous snake, waiting for the opportunity to kill an opponent. That's why the boy's goal is to accept 191 cups of cockroaches. For a moment, as serious as discovering his plan, shouted a warning to the boy's target. Islam Zen dance. At this time the world must have flown out of the wreckage. Directly towards where Lin Thingyu is standing. Smiling, you found out too late. Haha, God, you kicked Lao Tzu before, right? Now Lao Tzu will kill your sacred disciple. The Lord saw the disciple who had been beaten. Pay attention to him and immediately run towards it. My mouth stopped screaming. You have the courage to compete with me. Don't touch Lao Tzu's disciples. Just for a moment, when death appeared in front of the world's greatest, the person in front of me suddenly disappeared. Then he appeared behind him. Aim your hand at the heart. Pierce through him. Death and death, the body suddenly trembled, rolling his eyes in wonder. Suddenly there was a strange sound in the back. Eat. Let him be satisfied. Death is a cold feeling. I can't believe the surest horror guy said. You can speed faster than me. It's like giving him before he dies. Probably the best mouth. Just know where your prey is. The faster speed is useless. Stop talking and immediately tighten your hand. The heart of death just like that crushed. Robbed of life. His body fell to the ground. A master of heaven just died. I die without closing my eyes. He looked at Lin Tianyu, who was threatened with death. One side doesn't even dare to look. Probably the most contemptuous cold. I broke your master's heart. Even the enemy killed your master, and you didn't dare look. What a waste. When people saw this scene, they were immediately terrified. Too scary. Especially Hongfu Than Van and 5 elders. A false power of heaven. He was killed by a trick. And the most terrifying is, killed easily, like an ant. There's also a debt collector's eye. As soon as everything is done, hold your opponent's life in your hands. It can be taken away at any time. You are worthy of to evil words. Serious tongue. He was the first to reveal the body behind his back. But I guess the final goal is wrong. One step is next in line. Just fall into 1,000 lives of disobedience. He thought he was moving towards the worst. The eyes are a little hard to believe. The old man guessed wrong. Then your target is not the devil. It's death. I'm sure most people will laugh when they hear this. They laughed at me from beginning to end. He just wants to take his own life. And his disciples. What did an old man do with his life? That's why people dance here for a long time. A moment of death, the sky fell, was threatened not lightly. They finally understood the power of this person. And why does he have the name evil? No matter what they have seen so far, the name is right for you. The city is not too afraid. Calm down now. This boy is much scarier than the king of medicine. You know what, you re-following orders with him. But I feel you men follow orders. It's not enough to show your fear. The woman next to him also agreed. I'm a little nervous, looking at the city. Women should think again now. He is not a good place for you. This is not wrong. But she didn't forget either. It was he who saved them from today's tragedy. She shook her head with a steady laugh. To study our long dance. Is this Maya? It's under the stage right now. Probably the world is still talking. Teach the people in front of you, even if you take Lin Thienvu hostage. Death is possible. The ability is doubtful. Hongfu Than Van and 5 elders. Let's see what that boy's fate is. Do we look like someone who can't find the point? Strictly speaking, he is now standing behind his back. Hongfu Than Van. Hear that answer. That's right. Venomous snakes open their mouths and blow them. Lin Qianyu doesn't really matter. But people keep paying attention. The Dragon Ball is led by you. He looked slightly at the person who had just arrived, most likely laughing out loud. The poor man who died in heaven thought that he will actively attack. The truth of each blow. It's all my plan. Hear this word. Hongfu Than Van could not help but gnash his teeth. Silently scolding is really poison, kid. In this way, he did not speak out. Biting lips, silently self-blame. Unfortunately at that time, the Lord does not see your next demon. Or I and the 5 elders will strike. They also take your life. It's as easy as taking the life of an elder. Just finished the most sure words, laughing out loud for an hour. Showing a contemptuous face, haha. Hong Fu Than Van rated me to high. I want to see the old man's plan. A small name. I thought that reading some of the Emperor's books was to be loved. You are so poor. If Devil 7 is here, he could even be clever with him. But you don't deserve it. The Holy Father heard this word, gritted his teeth in anger. He is the king of two sons. Never been so despised by AI before. Especially if this person is about the same age as me. If you are not the king's son. Thinking of this, his face became even more muffled. Around the body scatter raw, intensely close. Most likely, look at his reaction. Smirking pleasure. Of course, it's a question. Thought then he spoke provocatively. The King of Heaven, you are not right. I'll tell you from the beginning. Prove that you have no talent to be king. Then don't practice the king's magic anymore. That's the three of you. Fools don't dare to fight. That's why we need to interrupt someone. You are the god of death. If you don't have a high mind, you like to be a leader. The king must first accept the good of others. Have a generous heart. Li and Death Tian. I dishonored myself, disgraced his name. Make him mad. Not only did you not do it at that time, he was angry and laughed at him. Make him even crazier. I'm out of control, leaving you two alone to fight me. It was your mistake. The king promised to take it all. Take the big picture seriously. Here someone else can control the speed. My body is only dead. But you let the French keep the enemy out of your control. If you leave him by your side, he didn't die either. This mistake is still on your head. The more likely it is to say, the government is getting more angry. He screamed frantically. That's enough. It is clear that you killed God and laid it on me. Everyone says you're so sinister. Hear this word. Probably most people don't notice. 2 hours later, the emperor called himself the emperor. Standing on top of someone else. He has no right to be a king. Not worthy of others to follow. The word just ended. The 5 elders immediately looked at the Hong Fu Than Van. Ponder the words he says. It's not wrong. By the power of the emperor. That's why they're suspicious of the Hong Fu Than Van. He really doesn't have leadership. Not fit to be the head of the 7 kingdoms. Most likely, the person standing in front of you puts it all in his eyes. Pleased to frown. Successful cockroach succession. They always make themselves smart. But in front of you, hold your hand as firmly as possible. Their minds are basically not enough. 192 Blood of Heaven. Hong Fu Than Van heard his words. Rage-addicted teeth around the body. The sound is scary. In my heart never ceases to murmur. Mom, this kid's psycho is terrible. He sent quickly to solve it. Avoid a long night of dreaming. If you let it go on, his reputation will be destroyed. Then he looked at the surest side of the world. I couldn't understand this boy's strange body. Then you have to attack a sudden attack. Surprise right now. The worst of them picked up a trick. Break through the wall, break out. Hong Fu Than Van stunned for a moment and shouted. Damn, he ran. Hong Fu Than Van, not from resentment. I swear for 2 hours. He just came up with a plan to charm him. He was quick to act first. It's like you know perfectly well. What is he thinking and full control? His actions are in the palm of his hand. Probably a way out. No one can stop you now. Laugh out loud, haha. It's too late to rely on the 2 of you. You can't stop Lao Tzu. The 5 most indifferent elders escaped. He bit his lips furiously. And he's hit again. What this person said earlier. I want to disturb your thoughts. They then had a chance to escape. Otherwise, he can't easily escape. The pursuit of the 2 gods. The 5 elders trembled with fear. Finally, transparency. This guy is clearly more evil than the lower demons. Waiting until he breaks through the heavens. Then the whole universe, no one can control him anymore. So, this man must die here today. Otherwise, the next day will be a disaster. The Hong Fu Than Van also did not hesitate. Quickly chase. Standing in the back a little confused. I don't know what his master is doing right now. Call master. Think seriously here for a while. I didn't wait for him to finish. Strictly speaking, he interrupted the chase. In a moment. There are only 9 people left in this place. The Thai bar is still sobbing in shock right now. On a face full of terror. The devil must be evil. You are as wise as the king. She was also laughed at by him. I don't blame the 7 of the 7 demons. He also died in his hands. The devil couldn't help but laugh coldly for an hour. The surgeon shook his head. It's a matter of course. This boy is unfathomably cunning against him. If you have a mind without power, you only have 7 failures. But there's no point in having power without a mind. It is the most rival. Scary and Halong 9 next to here. He also nodded at him. He is the one who cares. So now look at everyone. I suggest we also go out and see Sao. Although out, the boy's chances of running away are greater. But just in case, we need to be there to help him. When you hear this, everyone nods at the same time. Then head outside and fly away. Courtesy is running out now. Take a long look at the dance. Not out of regret. NUOI. Batch Dawn Prosperity is still healing. It's turning into a martial arts ring. I don't know. Will this old dance be knocked down? But even though Sao, this is also the battle of the Celestial Master. The power will be unimaginable. Right now, everyone outside heard a rumbling sound. Then you're most likely to break through. Fly out. Everybody evacuate. I also saw him constantly screaming. Look, that's for sure. This guy must be bad. Escape from the 2 great masters. Of the Emperor, and you devil cop always. Soon after, Hong Fu Than Van and 5 elders. The same big hammer on the hand. They also appear in everyone's eyes. In the interim, in the air, there's BA. Fierce fighting. Force the enemy to death. The Holy Spirit has now reached its peak. In hand-forming fists. A right to fight on the most secure side of the world. In my mouth I can't stop screaming to die. This one right has not been taken down. The most obvious part of his body disappeared in the blink of an eye. Hong Fu Than Van immediately punched into the void. Until I look back, most probably I don't know when. Appeared behind the back. Three people fight like that. Most likely, once again, the devil disappeared. To Hong Fu Than Van, people are basically not keeping up. I can't hurt you. She looked up at the sky in constant terror. Rolling my eyes. There is such a strange body in this world. Even the master of Thien Hien also bagged the medical position. I don't blame him for being called evil. I'm afraid only evil can be so strange. Not content to give in. Once again, the Lord's Prayer is in front of you. Most likely hit down a screaming aggressive book. Go to hell for me. Your body is to evil. But the government can't win this time either. Let him blink a few meters away. I can't help but laugh out loud, haha. Hong Fu Than Van, see you next time. He just picked up his feet and tried to leave. Two people. Hong Fu Than Van gently bite their lips. Emerged unsatisfied. In my mouth for 2 obnoxious hours. But at the moment, you haven't stood outside the battle. Seriously, suddenly speak up. Son, have you forgotten the old man? I told him not to wait for the best time to react. Tongue strictly opened the lid of the lake worn on the side. At the same time, 10 birds fell on your face violently. Then attack on the strongest side. An hour is not enough to defend. He was attacked and fell to the ground. Everyone looked up and couldn't help but take a deep breath. Do not be afraid to cry out. Mascot grade BA defect. Stand up from the ground. Probably not too badly injured. He glanced at the grave and said coldly. That's what Ra is. See, this is water of opportunity. Your last life. One man herbal medicine 193 scenes. According to the book, the blood is a strange beast. Rare in the world. God has given birth to God. They can attack the enemy's soul. Much into the sound waves. And then it'll jump in and bite off the enemy's throat. Sucking that person's fresh blood. Even if it's a level for beast. It's also hard to escape when 10 of the scourges come together. Most likely, the eye looks at the serious. A cold one. This old man is formidable. Even though he's bleeding, his body is weak. But I still can't ignore him. Okay. Maybe it's because of the blood in that pot. So before I faced all the masters. Like his Long Nine. There's no fear. Long Nine in the distance. The sky is filled with animals. Fear screams out of the sky. There are 10 more. This moment, he finally got really worried. For the most evil. Before that he knew, with his strength and his mind, it will be able to turn into N. But this is the situation. Don't talk about why. It's just a plot that grows wings. Even if it's the sky, it's hard to escape the encirclement. And then he had a hard time swallowing. Quickly looked that way. Hong Fu Than Van laughed out loud and said, "Haha, he is serious. In the end, I have to ask you to act. You can treat that boy. Boy, look where you're going. Seriously, I don't care right now.